Welcome back, Truth Seeker. This is part 2 to the Million Man March video. If you missed part 1, I'll link it in the description. I was talking about how Million Man March has the gematria of 74. Very important to Masonry, and how the Nation of Islam and Mr. Farrakhan are controlled opposition. They are owned and controlled by the same things they speak against. If this weren't the case, nobody would know who Mr. Farrakhan is. He wouldn't be allowed on the TV. His name wouldn't be mentioned. Masonic equals 74, just like Million Man March. And of course, the Nation of Islam, founded by a man named Muhammad, having the gematria of 74, which is why I explained Muhammad Ali would die at age 74 in 2014, 2 years before he was killed. And Muhammad Ali did not pass naturally or from his Parkinson's. He passed because he was murdered on June 3rd, a very specific date. The Prophet Muhammad from the Quran died at age 63. Muhammad Ali died on 6/3, 63 days before the start of the Summer Olympics in Rio. And the reason that matters is because those summer games were in 2016. 2016's the 63rd triangular number, meaning if you add 1 through 63 together, it equals 2016. And with regards to Muhammad Ali being connected to the Olympics, the name Muhammad Ali equals 96. He opened the 96 Summer Games in Atlanta. In the Quran, they say that the 96th chapter was the first revealed to Muhammad. Remember, using the English extended cipher, Prophet equals 503, which is the 96th prime. Of course, a boxing ring is also 96 feet around. So, Muhammad Ali became a Muslim, changed his name, all by the code, and none of it was his choosing. Muhammad Ali was an owned puppet his entire life, controlled by the numbers the exact same as the Nation of Islam. Everything that you know about through the mainstream is controlled by Masonry. There are no exceptions. Zero. Look at what day the Nation of Islam was established. July 4th. July 4th, 7-4 by Mr. Muhammad, 74. The Million Man March, 74. Million Man March all starts with M, the 13th letter. In numerology, 13 is 1 plus 3 is 4. 4, 4, 4. Million Man March. MMM, 4, 4, 4. 74. These are numbers of Masonry. So, the date that the Nation of Islam was established, not a coincidence at all. More proof that it was established by the same Zionist Jews that Mr. Farrakhan now speaks against today, because these Zionist Jews do everything by a code that mocks the black people of the world. July 4th, 1930 was a date with 60 numerology. It was established in Detroit on the 42nd parallel. Look at what the word, you know what word it is, you see it on the screen, Nigger equals 42, like the parallel Detroit's on, same reason Motown was established here. Established in the year 30, just like how they brought back Tiger Woods November 30th, 30 days before his December 30th, 42nd birthday. Been shaming Tiger Woods by the numbers through this entire thing. You know, the scandal, the affair, the humiliation on the golf course. And of course, also again, a date with 60 numerology. This is the date the Nation of Islam was established. Now think about what the Zionist Jews like to do. There's two groups of people they really like to demonize. They like to demonize black people, and they like to demonize Islamic people. Now you have them all in one group that you've created. And what's the reputation of the Nation of Islam? Well, if you have eyes to see and you listen to someone such as Farrakhan, you know, Farrakhan speaks pretty much all truth. He calls out Israel for what they are. He calls out this nation for what it is. It's hard to disagree with anything he says. That said, plenty of people are blind and they don't know what the truth is. They'll hear, from the mainstream media that Farrakhan, he's this bigot, he's this black supremacist, he's this anti-Semite. And sheep, they just go with what they hear in the mainstream. So they'll adopt that opinion about Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. And understand, the people who created the Nation of Islam as controlled opposition, they know this. They understand the psychology of human beings. That's why they create controlled opposition and they don't fret it. Because they know that they control big media. They control government. They shape and control public opinion. So they'll create a group to speak truth so that they can say that truth is hate. That truth is anti-Semitic. And that's exactly what's done. Now there's more. Let me show you some more numbers and then I'm going to tell you what's wrong with what Farrakhan's saying, and it's more about what he isn't saying. But notice, Nation of Islam has gematria 58. What's the legacy of the Nation of Islam? Have they accomplished anything? You know, their biggest claim to fame is that they assassinated Malcolm X. Where was he killed? The Autobahn Ballroom? 58. Like Freemasonry? 58. Like Secret Society? 58. Like Solomon's Temple? 58. Herod's Temple also equals 58. So does Jerusalem. So does United States. So does Washington, where the Million Man March was. The city named after the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason slave owner, George Washington. How about Huey P. Newton and the Black Panther Party? Huey P. Newton, 58. Established the party in Oakland, 58. And what did I tell everybody in October, months before Super Bowl 50 was played? It would be the Denver Broncos beating the Carolina Panthers. Von Miller, number 58, would be the MVP. And you'd have a Black Panther tribute, which came through the halftime show through Beyonce. As I pointed out, if my prediction was right, which became right, Cam Newton would become the 58th starting quarterback in the Super Bowl, which is exactly what he was. And then in the game, he forgot what sport he was playing because he just looked down at the football sitting on his shoelaces and just let it sit there until the other team picked it up. Professional sports, scripted, controlled by Freemasonry. Again, everything in the mainstream is controlled by Freemasonry. Cam Newton with a Black Panther on the side of his helmet, the 58th quarterback to start in the Super Bowl. It's all mockery. We the people, 58. Don't tread on me, 58. In God we trust, 58. And you at Coeptus, 58. There's more. As I talked about earlier, at the time of the Million Man March, Farrakhan was 62 years old. Mason, 62. Big number. Also, just in case you missed part one, what you need to know is it was Farrakhan's 159th day of being 62. Black man, 159. You could also say it was 158 days after his birthday. Freemasonry equals 158 as well. Jay-Z released his 444 album 158 days from his birthday. You know, the man born on the same day that Fred Hampton was assassinated by the numbers. Fred Hampton killed on his 97th day of being 21 years old. Death equals 97. Black Panther Party, 97. The name Carter equals 97. Jay-Z's name. Jay-Z equals 62 like Mason, and he is. Also, as a reminder, the Million Man March on the day that left 76 days left in the year, Negro 76, Slave 76, Blues 76, Louis 76. Again, everything done by Masonry is done by the code. They don't do anything outside of this code. This is Kabbalah. This is what controls Masonry. So now here's what's wrong. Here's what's wrong. Look at all these people that gathered there. You know, you had all these different civil rights groups getting all their members to show up there. They said they had 1 million people. And it looks like they did. I mean, that's a lot of people. What came out of this event? What came out of it? Anything come out of it? Things gotten better for black people? You know, you've gotten some empty symbolism. You got that fraud of a man, Barack Obama, as a president. 10 years after Tupac's song Changes was released, with the lyrics, "We still ain't seen a black president," then we get one who's an absolute fraud. And I told everybody he was an absolute fraud long before he was in the White House. Everyone should have known he was a fraud when he was on the campaign trail. You know? Told everybody he was going to vote so that those giant companies spying on us couldn't get immunity from wrongdoing. Talked about it for months, that he was going to vote against it. They'd broken the Constitution. They'd violated our rights. But then how did he vote? He voted so they could have immunity after for months talking about how they couldn't have it. What was more to know about him? Fraud. Obvious fraud. Plus in 2004, when he gave the Democratic keynote address, you heard all you needed to hear about him. He said, "Who cares about our criminal tyrant government? It's water under the bridge. Just look forward, everybody." Who cares if they stole all your rights? Who cares if they demolished the towers in New York? Who cares? Look forward. Water under the bridge. I heard enough right then. Anyway, what's come since the Million Man March for black people or any poor people? You know? Now we got a war against Islam. That's what's come since 9/11. I'll tell you why nothing happened. It's because all these people have been listening to the wrong things. All this bullshit about nonviolence. What's nonviolence ever done in the world? I'll tell you what nonviolence's resume is. Nothing. Nothing. We live in a criminal, tyrant, military killing empire. What is some nonviolence going to do up against that? Nothing. The direction should have been to show up 1 million strong and burn DC to the ground. Make sure there is no more federal government. That would have been something. Things would have changed. Instead, you had 1 million people show up and stand there like idiots. Nonviolence. That's what controlled opposition is. Programming you to speak bullshit. You know? This whole nation needs to read Animal Farm. Every day, when they wake up, when they go to bed, read some more Animal Farm, because that's where we live. People just regurgitating the shit they've been fed their whole life, like nonviolence. Nonviolence. Here's the legacy of nonviolence. Nothing. These are 1 million people that had a reason to be pissed off. These are 1 million people that had a reason to burn down Washington, D.C. They didn't. Will we ever get to gather 1 million people in D.C. again of any skin color, of all skin colors? Probably not at this day and age. You know, the police state's more in effect. People are more docile. You know? So Farrakhan, you know, he's talking about everything wrong in the world, but he's not getting his people up to act. He's not getting his people up to do anything. You can listen to him talk for 3 hours. He'll tell you all truth about the world, but he doesn't tell his people to do anything. It's like bitching for 3 hours about everything that's fucked up. You know? What's that doing? Bitching isn't doing anything. Talk is cheap. A nonviolent protest isn't worth jack shit. It's not worth anything. Never accomplished anything. Look at all the people who preach nonviolence. They're all dead. They're all dead. So, for the man who urged on this part 2, talking about how the Nation of Islam's good, no, it's not. It's just created a group that does nothing. Okay, fine, it speaks some truth. But other than that, it does nothing. Gets 1 million men to show up in a city and do nothing, you know? Empty symbolism. It's not good for anyone. We need action. And don't say, what am I doing? I am acting. I'm putting out real knowledge that actually empowers people. Proof. And, you know, a year ago, made an attempt to get people organized. It got sabotaged. I can't do enough from my position. I don't have any power. I don't have any resources. I do what I can. I need more people like me to stand up and do what I'm doing. I need more people to take a stand against paying taxes. All of you pay your taxes. You all pay for the military police state. You know? We all end up having to pay some taxes. We buy shit, we live places. Minimize your tax burden. Work a cash job so you don't have to claim anything. Tell you what, if everybody was living like me, the whole government would already be shut down. Big corporations that have tyranny over us, they wouldn't exist because they wouldn't be receiving any money. So, don't make excuses for your nation of Islam, you know. I think at the end of the day, Louis Farrakhan, he just likes to wear his nice shades and his nice suits. I don't trust anybody who wears a suit, by the way. No. Suit. Businessman. So we'll leave it there. Until next time.